So a woman, a mother, tells her 5-year-old son, Johnny, that she'd like him to step out to the pantry and get a can of tomato soup. He goes, Mom, it's dark out there. And she said, oh, it'll be fine, little Johnny, no problem. God's out there. So he opens the door, he says, God, if you're out there, would you please bring me that can of tomato soup? You know, it's something about the fact that this thing about darkness, you know, if you are into the Bible, or read it often, or read it every now and then, you see God created the heavens and the earth, and the dark hovered over the deep. Darkness came before light. And it was so important that it was mentioned accordingly. And for people that say that they are wanting to go deeper spiritually, that they want to explore the depth of themselves, there's no way to do that without darkness. Because it's through that depth of one's being that the true light, the lightness of being, the lightness of your consciousness, that believability of spirit, that's where it comes from. But it's that willingness to be there and to do that, you see. When I think of freedom, this is one of my favorite times of the year because freedom is very important to me. There were many times in my life that I did not feel free. I felt caged by limited ideas. I felt caged by addiction, those kind of things. So when it comes to this time, this week, you know, you want to explore, you want to look at in what ways am I still not free? Not in a way to perceive yourself as broken or what's wrong with you, but what within me still needs to be freed up. Maybe it's the ability to talk to my children better and more direct. Maybe it's the ability to tell the person who's fortunate to live with you and you are as you are them. Maybe there's more words that need to be said. You know, we never do a value or service to another human being when we cheat them of what words need to be said through us. Yes? And so it's what is it within you that you know. You don't even have to look too far because it starts to tell you, here's what I would like to do to be more free. Say it with me. Here's what I would like to do to be more free. It may be abundance. It may be freedom to travel all over the world. What is it? Or to really understand the deep, magnificent aspect of yourself. Every one of us are here today because someone in our lifetime was brave and courageous. My favorite philosopher, Ralph Waldo Emerson, said very clearly, a hero is not braver than anybody else. They're simply brave 5 minutes longer. Right? Simply brave 5 minutes longer. That's what I want to know from you today. What's your 5 minutes? Is it the 5 minutes you're driving through a neighborhood that's dilapidated and you might be called to do something? Is it an area where you see an abandoned pet, a dog, a cat, or something living, and within that 5 minutes it's your call to do something about it? That 5 minutes in your life, that connection, that space where you happen to be on your path, what within that 5 minutes can your reality change? That because you're willing to be brave and courageous, that something could catapult and change the history of our humanity. If you are here today because someone was brave before you, and therefore you are here, will you please stand? And that would mean everyone. That you are here because someone was brave enough for you to be here. Women could not vote. The color of your skin would keep you from opportunity, advancement, or even at times being treated like a notable, respected human being. You would not be able to stand with who you loved out loud. Think of all the ways we would not be here in unity because we practice spiritual freedom. And that's very broad. Ask every person here what is unity. Oh my goodness. What? Let's do a celebration for freedom. For great people. Living up to the fullest. We're very fortunate. Very fortunate. Thank you for participating. We're very fortunate to be able to do that and to have that experience. I love the movie Hidden Figures. How many Hidden Figures? If you haven't seen it, it's a must-see. It kind of rekindled my romance about film. Because, you know, I get tired of violence and bang, bang, shoot 'em up, boy loses girl, boy gets girl back. Let's come up with something original. You know, so anyway, it's a great film because it's about the women that were really the reason that NASA put people on the moon. And it doesn't even have to be that it was a woman. It has to be that it was a person that really believed in their gifts and their talents that God had given them. And so Katherine Thompson, this amazing person, was responsible for the geometry, was responsible for the math that allowed them to exit and re-enter back into the earth and not destroy themselves. In 2016, she was recognized and they named a building after her. Okay? Back then, many people would have walked away to have to endure what she put up with and all the things that she had to go through as an African American employee. And she would be missing every day from her post, and her manager said to her, Katherine, where in the world, you know we're stressed with this project, where do you keep going? And she said, well, sir, there are no colored restrooms in this building. I have to walk a half a mile this way, and I have to walk a half a mile back anytime I need to relieve myself. And he stood there in his 5 minutes, in that moment, and he went and got a sledgehammer and walked all the way over to the other building, and that sign that said colored bathrooms, he bammed and bammed it, and he knocked it down. And he said, at NASA, we do not have colored restrooms, and at NASA, all of us pee the same color. Very powerful what I can do and you can do, and we can do together. There's no stopping us now. We're on the move. I know, I just felt a song. Alright, so back to it. It just, you know, these things happen. Anyway, so when I was a teenager, when something would start, a noise or something was wrong with my car, I just turned the radio up. You know, I'd say to the person, do you hear a noise? You hear a noise? The radio would go louder. I didn't hear anything. You know, I mean, people make fun of denial, but it won't get you. I mean, you kind of move along for a little while. I mean, but in my maturity of life, I started seeing the radio for something much more magnificent, much more powerful. What I came to understand is that, you know, you are the one that tunes in to a certain channel on your radio dial. You are the one. So if you tune in to 101.3, you might get, you can't really hear clearly people talking. You feel kind of overwhelmed and a lot, and you're trying to tune in, but you can't really hear, you can't really make out what they're saying. You know, you just kind of look like, I don't really know what's coming through here. It's like what happens sometimes when people come on Sunday and they have this look on their face. You know, because they're like Facebooked out, they've been tweeted and beat and paged and called and emailed and everything. They just get this look, you know. And you just feel that overwhelming feeling because everything, your mind and everything is like pulling you in so many different directions. Does more of two of you ever feel this way? I hope so. Right? That's that static channel that before you know it, you're caught there. And you're hearing all this confusion that's not really how you believe. And you start getting this confusion in that's talking about the world and the shape it's in and what's heading and what's next and what's going on and everything. No. we are the ones that we are responsible. We change our channel then. We tune into 105.4. And all of a sudden now that's the channel and it's clear. That's that clear channel. And in that place is humility, and you just feel so grateful because everything is clear, everything is crisp, and you start to hear it. You are God's beloved, with whom God is well pleased.
Yes.
I actually put you on this earth because I know you have the answer. I just wish you would be it. You see, people spend their lives looking for the answer, where the answer is for you to be it.
Yes.
Do you resonate?
Yes.
And on that pure channel, that's that spirit calling you with your name on it, coming through you. You are my beloved, with whom I am well pleased. Self-esteem is natural. Love yourself. Because the great creator is, I love you as I created you to be immersed in the power of love. Love is the greatest healer on earth, in the world, of all things. But too many people spend their lives looking for the answer when they are the answer. How does that apply to you? How would that be directly related to you? Because we are the ones that tune into that station. Which station do you tune into? Because that's the results that you're getting in your life. Relate? Does this work for you? I got a few more minutes. You okay? All right, fine. Okay. There's a teacher that asked her students, they were in the first grade, well, what are the directions of the compass? How many are there? And the little boy spoke up and he said, well, there's 5. And she said, 5? Never heard anybody say that before. Yeah, there's 5. There's north, south, east, west, and where I am. And where I am. Yeah. That fundamental groundedness about your life is where you are. Whether you are in the midst of darkness and working through something, whether you are going through some kind of grief and you're working through something, the deeper you're willing to go into it, the greater your life is going to be on the other side of it. I practice it, I believe in it, I teach it, and I live it because I know it to be true. The deeper you can go inside of the wellspring of your life, the greater the reality of the joy that you are going to witness. I have missed being with you, but I needed to be home working on myself. It's the beauty, the richness of life. It's like Michael Beckwith, Dr. Michael Beckwith said that years ago when you take those photos, you take them in. Remember, we used to take them in, and then we get them developed. I mean, that was like how long ago? In this lifetime, right? And you wait on them, you know, after you strategically plan only how many you could take. And you go to pick them up, and he said this one time he was really being pushy because he wanted them right away. And so he said, no, I can't wait. I can't wait till tomorrow. I really need you to rush this order. I need these prints right now. And so they rushed for him, and we got them back. They were all blurred. They were all blurred. And the assistant said, sir, Dr. Beckwith said, we're so sorry, but you rushed the process. The images didn't come through. You know, we don't want to do that with our lives. We want to be brave, and we want to be courageous. And we want to keep setting that greater intention for us and for us to live and to listen divinely to what is up and what we need and what we require to really express the greatness of our humanity. I think that's the most beautiful spiritual truth, is that you are here to understand and to love that you are a human being. And I didn't know that early on when I got into metaphysics. I was wanting to, reach nirvana. Be in the clouds all the time. I don't know if that was true for you either. Anyway, you went somewhere, so I'm going to come back. Here we go. Hold up your hand if you're still here. Thank you. I love you. So in Scripture, in James 1:19 and 20, my dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Because human anger does not produce the righteousness, the right thinking that God desires. Do you know what anger is? Thank you for asking. Anger is a person's inability to express oneself. Anger is when a truth has not been spoken. Anger is when something hasn't been said, hasn't been shared. It's the opposite of grief. So what we're learning, what we continue to learn, is that when we clear all that, when we express and we listen to our own inner being, there's a tremendous amount of power in that. Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Don't just go, Do what it says. Anyone who listens to the word but does not do what it says is like someone who goes and looks at his face in the mirror and after looking at himself goes away and immediately forgets what he looks like. Well, that's really deep, don't you think? That's really deep. But in other words, listen to your direction. Listen to what is yours to do. Talk less, listen more, and clear any anger that's in your body. Red energy is what leads to so many situations, not the one cause of, but leads to chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. Some of them, their anger is that kind of thing. We have an overpopulated society of angry people. Let's hold in our prayer space that will be cleared. Okay? Let's hold that in our prayer space that will be here. So, every baseball team, with it being this time of year and hot dogs and all of that, those of you that aren't vegetarian, like some of us, for that great American dream, part of that is baseball. And every baseball team could really use a player that never makes a mistake, that's a great hitter, that's a great runner, that just does everything perfectly. The challenge is how they get him out of the stands eating his hot dog to get him to actually join the team. This is the great game that we call life. This is the great game that we call that you are the answer, be it. Give yourself permission to be it. And thank you for coming off the stands and playing with me here at First Unity. I love everything.